Good afternoon. Welcome back to Cool Talk. Thank you for joining us. This is our episode number 20, I was told, which is awesome because usually they say podcasts after you get past 10 to 15, if you can keep recording, you get somewhat successful, quote unquote. So I'm hoping we can keep on getting in a couple hundreds here. But I am joined today with Andy Young. Hi, Andy.
Hey, how you doing, Brandon?
I am good. Andy is a financial planner, correct?
Absolutely.
And there's a difference in an advisor and a planner, and this is really key, especially in this right now in this time of year. The market's up and down. People are either trying to decide where to put money, where not to put money, what to do. So you're the expert right now in this field. I'm not. So tell me who you are, how you got into it, and what a financial planner does.
Happy to share with that, Brandon. So for myself, the biggest difference that I always tell people to look out for is a financial planner is going to be helping you out with a plan and not a product. So when you're working with somebody and you're trying to figure out, hey, is this person got my best interest in mind? I work as what's called a fiduciary. I'm legally responsible to work and make sure I'm in somebody's best interest.
Okay.
So if I sit down with somebody, I'm going to develop a plan first, whether they're a business owner, somebody trying to retire, whatever that case might be. And the reason I got into that is because I grew up with a family of entrepreneurs. You heard on the last episode, it's kind of a common theme with that. But Trevor, I grew up with that as well around me. That my grandfather
grew up in the financial world.
Well, I grew up because my grandfather retired off of the railroad with a full pension. It's kind of funny that we're right here beside the railroad recording at the age of 37.
What?
And
30? Did he start? Well, I guess he probably started working at 12, though. Yeah.
You would think. So he retired with a full pension and then started the family business. We had an auto parts store growing up. So I grew up with, sweeping floors, stocking motor oil, and just seeing how that family business worked. And when he passed away at 67 years old, he'd had a full 30 years of retirement owning that business. And I saw how that was a blessing and a curse. It didn't last past that next generation that was trying to run that business. So when I'm working with business owners now, it's a lot of that is that business continuation plan. Hey, what happens one day when you try to take that closely held family business and turn it into a paycheck that lasts the rest of your life?
Yeah, and how do you get the point to? There's a lot of younger generation now starting, and they just want more money now, and trying to tell people you need to save. I mean, how is it just? They do or they don't, or is there a way you can persuade them that this is definitely what you need to do?
Well, here's what's amazing, what I've seen as far as kind of a generational shift. If you talk to somebody that's in their 50s or 60s, they're worried about retiring. If I talk to somebody that's in their 20s or 30s, a lot of times what they're focused on more is trying to figure out, hey, what's this experience I can have? I want to buy my first house. I want to go on the big European vacation. It's you're saving for an experience. So when I'm talking to younger folks right now, really retirement is one of the last things that they're thinking of. So I like to work in what's called multi-purpose money. Okay. Money that they can do more than one thing with.
Gotcha.
And they're not having to sit there and wait for 35 years before they enjoy that money. So that's been a huge shift to show people, because the common thing that you learn is you save in a 401k, you're going to use this 30, 35 years from now, and it's going to help you retire. The majority of people, it's a microwave generation.
They don't have to save a ton a month. You can come up with ways to put what they can budget. Do you help them with budgets?
Absolutely.
As well?
Yeah, so cash flow management is where everything starts. So when you're doing actual financial advice and planning, you don't see that often if you sit down with somebody, because they don't get paid for it.
Right.
Right. They're like, hey, what's the quickest thing? I need you to buy this stock, do this, do that. You need this life insurance. For us, it's that slow play of starting off and saying, first, we're going to start with the plan. And that plan's going to dictate what gaps, concerns that we've got, and know exactly where we need to take this. That's why we call it the financial pathway process.
Yes.
It's because we're guiding people.
You're more about the process than the product.
Absolutely.
So that's a big difference, correct?
Yeah. So that's going to show us a clear plan to be able to say, hey, here are the gaps and concerns, and here's some different things to be able to fill that. For you as a business owner, we do this as complementary education for businesses to be able to teach their employees. And we have it as an ongoing, we call it financial IQ. It's because this is a huge missing puzzle piece for business owners. We just did this with Foster Fuels for all of their employees, of rolling it out. 168 employees, taking them through and being able to explain, like, hey, here's what's going on financially. And it's a huge, huge gap right now.
Yeah.
You've got people trying
It
to
is.
figure
It's
it out.
definitely big, and it's actually a necessity to keep good employees. I actually did not have health insurance in different 401ks and IRAs until a couple of years ago. We did add that as a benefit because we were having really good employees thinking about going to other businesses because they had that. That's a main key thing. So we do that, and we match up to 3%. I believe it is 3 or 4%, and then they can put in what they want. What would somebody that even, it doesn't matter the age, you can start at any time saving money, but what would they need to get together if they wanted to come meet with you and go over maybe their budget things? Is there certain things you ask them to bring so that you don't waste a meeting?
Yeah, so I do this for anyone that I set up, that I do a complimentary conversation. So 15 minutes just to help you out with whatever questions you've got. Doesn't mean that you're ever going to become a client with me. Doesn't mean that we're a fit, but a lot of times people have questions. So I'll start with that. After that meeting, if it makes sense, then we'll set up where I'll go through for an in-depth hour just to be able to figure out what's top of mind and what do you have going on. In that meeting, basically what I'm looking for is we got to figure out, hey, what is your income? Where's your money coming from right now? And then starting to get an idea
where is
as
it
far as
going?
how do I track where it's actually going. That what's amazing is I can talk to somebody, and if you ask them, it's like the taboo topic of money, and you're like, hey, well, how much did you make last year? And the person's like, oh, well, my salary is $60,000. Well, you didn't actually make $60,000.
Right.
You had a handshake
Exactly.
agreement with
Yep.
the IRS. You gave a little bit
Yeah,
to
you
them.
gave some to them. Yeah.
But it's amazing when you sit down and you actually go through and you see for some people for the first time, and they start to realize, oh wow, I'm losing money
So
unknowingly.
you help them, show them ways that they're wasting money and they don't even know it, or how much they're spending in different things, and there's different ways of doing it better or save more.
Yeah, and if you've got somebody, if every time somebody showed up, it was like going to the dentist, and it's like they're going to tell you didn't brush enough, you didn't floss right, and it's miserable, they're going to stop coming in to see me.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So when I'm going through, I never coach on trying to limit. I basically try to figure out what's the lifestyle that you like and you enjoy, and how can we maintain that. So if you are losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily, for instance, with mortgage rates right now, it's tremendous as far as people being able to refinance. You might be able to save $500 or $600 a month
Yeah.
that you can put towards other things that matter to you, like your kid's education
Right.
or your retirement one day.
And now's definitely a good time to start as any. Even though people look and watch the news and they say the market's crashing, you can still invest and do good. Correct?
Absolutely.
Don't shy away from it because of the reports.
Yeah. So when you see that, people react emotionally. The reason that it's important to have an advisor, whether it's me or not, is somebody that can actually talk you through, hey, here's what's really happening. So when you have those days where, like, for instance, last March, where people were opening up their home screen on the internet, and it's like, oh my gosh, the market's down 40%. Well, if that person emotionally reacted, jumped out right there, holy cow, what have they missed out on since then?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it happens. But if you don't have that basis to really know, like, no, it's okay. You're not going to be retiring for 27 years. It's okay that the market went down.
Right. You got to look at it's the long run, and that's the one thing they always told you: don't get monthly statements. Don't look at the account. Don't look at the market. Just trust your planner.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that know what's best for you in the long run. You're not going to get the money out next year. If you do, you're going to lose it all in taxes. I mean, you got to wait till you're a certain age, but trust your planner.
Yeah, we had people last year that were coming in that weren't clients of ours that were saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm sure that you guys have been getting tons of calls with this as far as people worried." And I said, "No, I've received one phone call that wasn't just a normal call, and it was somebody that hadn't actually went through the full planning process. So they didn't exactly see that funnel of, hey, when am I going to need the money? How is it invested? How does it all fit? But everybody else, they knew they had a plan first. So it's amazing the difference. I mean, if I show up and you give me all the parts out in a van and say, hey, Andy, go do an install.
Yeah.
I've got all the tools, but
tools.
I have no idea what to do with them.
Do you have the same with me in financial thing. You can give me all the websites to log into and invest, but in all the money, but where to put it, I'm gonna put it in the wrong spot. I'm just so you got to know where to put it, what's going to be the best, high, medium, low risk, and different things, and let it go. I do know that I guess you have a podcast of your own, correct? Isn't it about financing?
I have a podcast called Dream Achievers with the Mountain Money Man.
Okay.
And I focus on business owners here in Central and Southwestern Virginia that are actually out making a difference in their communities, whether it's that they're employing people or they're 501c3 leaders. I've had all kinds of great guests with that. Heather Alto, who both of us
Yeah.
spend time with, has
Yeah.
been a fantastic guest with that. But I just love hearing the stories of those business owners that had that dream at some point in time that they said, you know what? I'm not working for somebody anymore. They stepped out, like yourself, 15
Right.
years ago, that you said, no, I think I can do this.
Right.
And hearing that story and that journey along the way is
That's
amazing.
awesome. So you have all kinds of guests, and how can they find your actual? How can we find you financially? Your business info, and if people want to listen also to the podcast and get a lot of good information, where can we find you?
Yeah, best way is on Instagram or Facebook. It's at MTN, Mountain Money Man. So it's easy to be able to find with that. I post every single week as far as with the guests that have been on the show and what they're sharing with that. So if you're not already, the same as with Cool Talk, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and that way you never miss out on an episode.
Yeah, that's great. You're out, and so you're on weekly, are you live? Are you going live, or is it just you're coming out weekly?
We record. Some people, I was actually out here in Bedford just last week at Little Otter Flowers, and being able to share their story. So a lot of times I'll go out and actually visit people where they're at and be able to hear those stories and kind of. I'm not as good as Woody. I try to create like a little commercial for him, but it's just fun to be able to see people on their own terms and what they're doing. They're comfortable and they get to share those stories.
Right, that's great. And you work by yourself? Is it office of you, or it's your own business?
Yeah. So with their firm, it's the Financial Pathway Group. We're affiliated with Mass Mutual. Over in Windhurst in Lynchburg.
Okay.
So local office with that. There's 5 of us on the team. And we have people that specialize in different things. So anywhere from retirement planning for business owners to people that are dealing more with Medicare questions.
Okay.
There's a little bit of everything under the sun with that. But if you've got questions and you're just trying to figure out, hey, how do I put it together? The first place to start is just simply reaching out for a 15-minute conversation.
And you do anything with health insurance or any planning like that, or?
Yeah, so for health insurance, it depends on what the person has going on. So sometimes it's that they've lost insurance coverage and they're trying to figure out, hey, where do I go? I always point people to the resources that are going to make sense for them with their situation. I don't personally sell it. I did that for years as far as getting affiliated with the marketplace, and I found that it took a lot more time than what I had available to be able to help.
Gotcha. You have people in your office that can kind of help too as well
Exactly.
with if you have a health issue, or not issues, health questions with health insurance and
Yeah.
issues with your insurance.
Yeah, one of the big things that pops up now is you've got people that are worried about health insurance. What happens if I retire before 65? Like, what do I do for health insurance? I'm not getting Medicare yet.
Right. Yeah, that's a big
and
question.
you've got
You just
people
got to
trying
keep
to-
paying it, or either where do you get the money for it?
Yeah, and
Because
then
you
the
can't
other
draw
piece,
until what 66 your retirement. I guess normally
65 is
65
for Medicare still
Okay.
right now. And then the other piece is people for long-term health care. The people just not realizing that, hey, that's not covered.
Right. I guess then that also ties into you do life insurance. Y'all have
Absolutely.
life insurance plans and real estate planning stuff. You help with wills and different things for the
Yeah,
future.
so when I'm going through and helping somebody out, a holistic financial plan with me or anybody else should really include cash flow, should be talking about with an investment plan, a tax minimization plan. We don't want you to pay more to the IRS than you have to. Looking at an estate plan and a risk plan. And with that, you're covering life insurance, you're covering market risk, you're covering all of those things that we just talked about to be able to make sure that you're, number one, that you got a plan of where you're going with it. And if not, what are you doing to address it?
Right. Man, that's awesome. That's a lot of stuff they can help with. So definitely give Andy a shout. Get a free consultation. Set up a meeting if you're thinking about starting to save for retirement, or you need issues on any other of these topics we brought up. They got a one-stop shop right here in Windhurst, so it's local. Give Andy a call. And where can they reach you at, Andy, again?
Best way, Facebook and Instagram at MTN Money Man.
And then you have an office number that you use a lot, or a cell that
Yeah,
business
for me, if you call, I'm happy to talk with you. My personal cell, 407-676-1228. Yes, it's a Florida number. I lived in Orlando, Florida for 4 years, and with the beauty of technology, I'm not changing
That's
the
right.
number.
The number can go with you. Always keep your number. Yeah, that's definitely. Oh, well, thanks for coming in, man. Anything else that I didn't bring up that needs to be shared that I might have forgotten, or
No.
did we cover it all?
Yeah, I think we covered with that. The biggest thing, if you're a business owner right now and you're listening to this, I highly suggest do financial wellness for your employees.
Yes,
It's going to
okay.
boost their productivity tenfold. Just the fact that they're not going to be worried about money. They're going to have a plan to be able to move forward.
Right. Awesome. That's great. Great information, man. Thanks for coming in, and I appreciate that. And I hope we can share this podcast with a lot of people and get some people in the door for you.
Fantastic.
So thank you. All right. Well, thank everybody for listening and joining us. If you got any financial needs or info, give Andy a shout. Find him on Facebook and let me know how it goes. I think you'll be very, very well taken care of and satisfied. So thank you, and we'll see you again.